it sends a signal over there way slower. But alright, what is up, everybody? How's everybody doing? Happy Wednesday. Gotta remember to stay hydrated. I need to elevate my foot. Yes, I got a Snuggie on today because it's cold down here. I bought the Snuggie like 12 years ago on a Woot sale. They're like $5 a piece. But it comes in handy for days like this. But yeah, update on the foot. It's wrapped up and I'll explain why in a bit. But we're just gonna hang out for a second. Let me see. How's the vertical stream looking? I think it should be pretty much good to go by now. The framing is going to be off depending on if you show the chat in the vertical stream. Just because YouTube resizes stuff. There's nothing I can do about it. It's either going to be sized correctly when you're completely full screen. Or when you have the chat open. But then it'll be one or the other is going to have to be off. So I would just assume people watching full stream. And then when they chat, they pull up the chat. Type whatever. And then go back to full screen afterwards. But yeah. Doing a vertical one too? Yeah, Chris, I did. I started the vertical one last week actually, and it did about the same performance as the normal, which was not what I've been seeing based on what other creators are saying. Like Nutty, when he said in his video teaching how to do vertical and horizontal stream, he said that his got like noticeably more views on the vertical, and if you look at Brett's live streams, his gets crazy, like 30x the amount, but mine was pretty even. Stop lying, that's not what's not the consensus. I don't even know what's the consensus. Oh, you're talking about the title of the video? I mean, the consensus so far based on the big channels that I've seen, but yeah, feel free to unsub if you're gonna get butthurt about that. Anyways, before we get to that though, let's see if I can do this right. Where's the scenes here? Oh, okay, so that does change right. Yeah, but we look at the live results, like last week when we had the two Intel videos. Let me zoom in so it shows those two. Yeah, my normal versus the vertical stream results are they're pretty much the same. So yeah, we'll see if over time this changes, but like right now we can see 31 watching the regular stream, 6 watching the vertical stream. So when my brother used to stream YouTube, I told him to post a short before going live. Then if the short got pushed, the stream might benefit too. The thing is, I don't want to saturate the channel and the feeds with announcements. I was never a fan of like pushing a video or pushing something that says, oh, I'm going to be live soon, go check that one out. Even if you do unlist or private the video, I don't like the idea of sending a bunch of notifications to people, because if you do that too much, they're just gonna turn off notifications or even like get annoyed and unsub. So yeah, I've never been a fan of doing that. What's up, Wushi? I've been so I need to get better about this. So now, like, this is a shorts. This is someone from the shorts chat. I can pull their highlight. I've set it up so that I can pull up both, like the one behind it. So I just need to remember to clear off whenever I highlight someone's comment from one or the other, because essentially like both of them can be up at the same time. But because I still haven't figured out how to merge the two chats and be able to highlight the chat. This is a work in progress, but yeah. YouTube shorts show when you're live too. Yeah, I've personally never been fed a stream while scrolling to YouTube shorts. But apparently it happens. I came to the regular stream, the notification sent me to the tall stream. Yeah, I don't know why it does that. Like, I would prefer if people who normally watch the normal stream get pushed that one, but it's just when you set these streams to go live, you don't really have control over it, so yeah. They weren't announcements, just normal content he would save to post before going live. Oh, so you're saying have a YouTube Shorts ready right before this stream starts? I still, in my mind, because I have not come across this live stream while browsing Shorts, how that works. Because if you push a short stream or a Shorts video, wait, push. If you are live and a short gets fed to someone, you're, oh, okay, so it's like a YouTube video. Yeah, I know what you're saying. It's kind of like, I mean, let me look at Shorts real quick on my phone. So that means get a YouTube Shorts ready every single stream I do, so that while I'm live, I can send out a short, and then people can find it via that way. Huh. I wonder if Brett uses that strategy too. Honestly, I'm not... I feel like Brett is like an anomaly. Like, him getting like a normal stream having 7,000 views versus a YouTube short stream having 200,000 views, which he has replicated many times. I don't expect to achieve those same results, but we'll see. Khalifa, what says, guys, what do you think about the 9700X? I'll go over... I mean, I haven't used it yet. They're not even for sale yet from what I've seen. It's really interesting. I could have sworn in some of the videos I watched, some of the reviewers mentioned that they should be available now, but looking on Google, even though with the embargo lifted and the reviews out, I have not seen them available to buy. I just checked like not too long ago. You know, quick Google search, usually Amazon, Micro Center, or whatever, Newegg pops up, but yeah. Okay, let's see. Yeah, definitely, because I mean, YouTube in general favors if you're able to post more frequently, right? And definitely Brett posts multiple, like at least one short every day of the week, and then his upload schedule for video wise is like almost every day. I don't count, but pretty sure he does like probably like 5 videos a week. John, always first. No matter what, he's always first. What's up, John? I got the screwdriver right here. And when I sent you that clip, I was saying the ratcheting mechanism... Wait, what is my... Oh my goodness. My mic has been sitting on the table this whole time. Have you guys noticed the audio quality? I totally forgot to... It was sitting right like on the table. I think it sounds better. At least the volume should improve with it actually clipped onto me. But yeah. But John, what I was saying about the screwdriver is that clip I sent you, I wasn't bashing it. I was saying this sounds really, and it feels really nice. I do like this screwdriver. So thank you. Now that I'm seeing you on the stream. Yeah, so this should be better. Robert Fixit says, I'm on horizontal, chat on phone now. Last time with the screen share on vertical, it was too small. Yeah, on vertical, the screen share is always going to be small. There's nothing we can do about it unless I zoom in and cut off the sides, but that's not ideal. So, yeah. And we got Citrus in the vertical stream. I don't even know what the numbers are, but that's not the point. So, okay, one quick update. So, I actually had surgery. And when I say surgery, I'm not trying to make it sound scary or anything, but my foot is wrapped up right now because... They did surgery yesterday on my foot. They did a bone biopsy, which if you don't know what that means is they open up whatever part of your body part that they need to extract like a piece of bone from, right? So they can send it into the labs and see what's up because, what is that? My bone density has like also shown some pretty sharp decline. Like when they took the x-rays and stuff, the part around my foot specifically, the bones are lighter or more transparent looking in the x-ray, which means lower bone density compared to like normally it's like it shows up as like full white and opaque. So they're worried about whatever the heck is going on in my foot. It is also not only at the joint but spreading to the bone. So I had surgery yesterday, you know, did the whole full Man, it was my actually first time going into surgery as like an adult. The last time I actually had surgery was getting my tonsils out, which I was like 6 years old. So that's like what, 29 years ago. So this was like, you know, it felt like my first time ever going into surgery and going under anesthesia and everything. And man, that's a nice feeling, like to be able to pretty much instantly knock out and get good quality sleep, and then waking up like not fully remembering anything initially. But yeah, so with the bone biopsy, what they do is they go in and they basically punch out like a section of your bone. Think of like what a cork, like a cylindrical cross shaped thing. Like, so they take out like a cylindrical section of your bone so that they could, you know, study it and stuff like that. So there's like a hole in wherever the heck they pulled the bone out of my foot that's gonna hopefully naturally recover, is what they told me. They don't fill it or anything. They just punch out this section, like a cylindrical section, and take it, and then the bone is just left there to heal by itself. So yeah, that's the update on the foot so far. Still can't walk on it. Coming up on 7 weeks now, and this sucks, but you know, we're doing anything that we can on the medical side of things. Like, I've seen by this point, like, I don't know, 2 different ER doctors and like 4 different like specialists, orthopedic, podiatrists, 2 different podiatrists, my rheumatologist. Yeah, so just going through that. Yeah, just from waking up without a sense of how long you were asleep. I was only under for, they said 30 minutes, so it's not that long at all. I have stitches in right now. I get them removed in 2 weeks, but yeah, it's just like, afterwards, I was looking up like, what is it? Are anesthetics like addicting? And like, I don't know, it would be so nice if I could have something at home similar where every night when I wanted to go to sleep, I could turn this thing on that like basically induces sleep instantly, so you know, and gets you good quality sleep. But I think if you've seen the movie Inception, I don't know if that's like the same type of stuff that they use when they go to sleep or force themselves to sleep to dream, but it would be nice to have something personal like that. Cammy Hudson says bone will heal and fill it in several weeks. Yeah, hopefully. I've been trying to. I don't know. Do you guys feel like you get a decent amount of calcium in your diet? Like, you know, when you're growing up as a kid, there's that, like, not a myth, but there's like the encouragement. There's all those milk commercials and stuff like that. Milk promoting like strong bone density and bone strength and joints and stuff like that. But did you guys ever like do that thing where you drink a tall glass of milk every night before going to sleep? I know some people who did that. I never did that because I am lactose intolerant. So normal milk gives me the runs. And back then, like, because we're talking like, you know, 20 years ago when I was a kid, I don't remember lactose-free milk being a thing. Maybe it's because I was just dumb. Like, I didn't remember it being a thing, but nowadays I drink like Lactaid milk. Costco has a nice 4-pack that they sell. So it's lactose free. You can drink it without having the runs or stomach ache and stuff like that. But I've been trying to up my calcium intake ever since basically this whole thing happened. I only have milk with breakfast. Yeah, so like I like to eat cereal, so I have milk when I have cereal. But other than that, like, sure, calcium through like cheese if I eat like pasta or something. But that's not even that much, right? If you think about it, you sprinkle cheese on pasta. On pizza, there's a decent amount of cheese, so you get calcium through there. But in general, like, does the average person intake their daily recommended amount of calcium and your magnesium and vitamin D so that it could absorb it, right? I think I gotta go get supplements because I definitely don't intake enough. When the old man's arms fall off, haha, got milk. Yosef says, hi, where are you also streaming? I'm only streaming on YouTube, but I am streaming on 2 different streams as a vertical and a horizontal one. So you can watch either one. I put milk in my coffee. But yeah, see, what I'm saying is we probably get milk through like baked goods, things like putting it in your coffee and stuff like that. But that doesn't feel like enough, right? Because you're only putting like a drop of milk in. So like, how much calcium do you really get? I take supplements. Yeah, I need to go and get some supplements because after this whole foot scare thing, I'm just trying to be proactive about it. Alright, so the main topic of today's stream, we're 15 minutes in now, small talk is over. As you can see by the title, the other person, I'm not even sure if they're still in chat anymore. My title was based on what other YouTubers are saying. I don't have a 9700X or 9600X. I don't know if I'm going to get one based on what I've seen so far. But if we go to the browser, if you go into YouTube, and let me try to zoom in for all the people on the vertical. You guys should be able to see this. So if you type in Ryzen 9700X, the embargo basically was today. So everyone who got review samples is able to post. I have not watched Linus's video yet. I typically don't go to Linus for like GPU and CPU reviews. I'm not sure if you guys feel the same, but I'll watch it eventually at some point. But like, my go-tos are usually Hardware Unbox, Gamers Nexus. But yeah, so Hardware Unbox says, so I said in mine underwhelming, right? Because I'm not trying to be super, like I don't really like the whole negative spin on product reviews. Negativity in thumbnails and titles do lead to more clicks. I have seen this firsthand myself. I have done like graphics card reviews where I just put like a somewhat normal title and it doesn't do well. But when I say like disappointing and make a disappointing face in the thumbnail, and it's like, you know, the difference between a 4060 and 4060 Ti review video, and you see different results, like way more views when you're negative about it, then, you know, there's some incentive to be negative. But in this stream, I called it underwhelming, as in the performance doesn't live up to par. And I think it is reflective of what, like, Hardware Unbox, they say 9700X Zen 5 sucks for gaming. Very sensationalist title, I feel, and then flop in the thumbnail. And then wasted opportunity on Gamers Nexus side, saying it's not Intel. So, I mean, it's not Intel, so it's better in that regard. But, let's see, GamerMail, this one's a pretty, did they actually review it? Oh, yeah, GamerMail did get one to review. Because I think GamerMail usually just does, like, new stuff. Let's see, held back by power limits from Der Bauer. Hardware Canucks, just a very simple title. Where's Jay's? Paul was pretty, what's it called? Neutral as well. How did Jay's video not pop up? I had it right here. We expected so much more. So, I was trying to flip through some slides, but I think another channel I really like watching is Wendell from Level 1 Techs, and his is one of the more positive outlooks on these new chips. But essentially, let's go back to, just because I don't want to get copyright struck for showing their footage and all that stuff. But if we look at power consumption, that's going to be one of the big talking points for, is there an average power? Well, I mean, we could take a look at the 13 game average results from Hardware Unbox. So this 13 game average, they test at 1080p because you don't want to accidentally force any bottleneck onto the graphics card. You're trying to push as much frames per possible through the CPU. And if we just take it from that, I really wish Gamers Nexus also did a like roundup of 13 game or 13 productivity benchmark average. They don't, so that's why I usually like to refer to either Tom's Hardware, who also does like average charts, as well as Hardware Unbox. But if we take a look at this right here, 13 game average, 9700X comes in at 155. If we're going to compare it, 7800X3D, which is what I have in my test bench. Whew, I'm so happy, actually, that I chose the 7800X3D. because it's still for gaming anyways, which is what I primarily care about, and I feel like most viewers on my channel care about. So as a test bench item, still performing as good as it does is awesome. But we look at just the quote unquote generational leap, right? For gaming, this isn't for productivity and stuff. We can try to look through those numbers next, but 9700X versus 7700X, 155 versus 151 with very similar 1% lows between 110 and 109. If you look at that, let me pull up a calculator real quick. What's 155 over 151? Off the top of my head, that's got to be like 2 to 3%, right? So 155 divided by 151. Yeah, it's 2.6% gain, an uplift for gaming. Now, you do have to keep in mind that this is at 1080p. This is a very extreme test scenario, right? If you're playing at 1440p, that gap would close a little bit more, and then at 4K, it might even be negligible. There might not even be a difference, because again, 1080p is very extreme. That's when you're pushing the CPU its hardest and taking the load off of the graphics card essentially. So just based on the gaming results, which again, a lot of the viewers of this channel and just I feel like a lot of people building PCs, I mean, yeah, there are people who work, you know, doing like Blender or Unreal, like game design, programming, stuff like that. But when it comes to consumer parts, I feel like the gaming segment is pretty big. This is counting like your average at-home person. We're not talking about like industry or like in different industries that people do buy higher-end chips for. I feel like 9700 Ryzen 7 is still very like mainstream consumer. It's not like crazy expensive. What was the MSRP of this supposed to be? Let's see, 9700X MSRP. It's like $359, right? So yeah, that is very affordable for the average consumer, average home PC builder. I mean, if you're doing more professional use cases, you probably have more to spend, especially if you're like working at a company or something, game design. You have more to spend on a CPU, and you're probably getting like a Ryzen 9, but seems like the X3D will always be the best buy for AMD generation. Yeah. What was the power? Let me see. Let me look at the power consumption real quick. Power and gaming. Let me zoom out on this a little bit so we can see. So, power and here we go. Wait. So what do we have? Last of Us rather. So not as see. This is where the 7800 X3D makes for the better case still, because it less power consumption and more performance. But let me look at the cost per dollar. So, or Cinebench, here we go. In Cinebench, 7800 X3D scores less. So here's quote unquote a more productivity CPU. This is still a synthetic benchmark, but what did they only do Cinebench and gaming? The Gamers Nexus video would show a better let's see, thermal, let's see, Dawntail. So these are all the gaming stuff. Gamers Nexus gaming selection is very interesting, like Baldur's Gate and then Final Fantasy 14, which is an automated benchmark. Their charts are gonna be way too hard to read, even on the mainstream, I feel. But where are the okay, so Blender CPU benchmarking in Blender. Can I zoom in so we can actually see this slightly better on their their charts? So 7900X. So this is gonna be lower is better for the time. So yeah, even if you look at Blender, like 7700X is right there with it. 9700X, 13.3 versus 13.4 seconds. Let me see what other benchmarks we got. Compression, decompression, Photoshop. Like for the Photoshop benchmark, is this the Puget one or where are they? Oh, come on. Are these timestamps not? It's not updating. Give me a second. X3D has set unrealistic expectations for non-X3D CPU releases. The tech is just that good, though. That is true. And yeah, the AVX 512 performance. Wendell went into that, actually. Wendell's review mentioned that. And Wendell's review, well, so with his, he definitely talked about the benefits of the lower power consumption and setting the framework for AM5 for future chips, right? So while the other content or the other channels were kind of calling it a flop, especially for gaming, Wendell looked at it from just like a bigger picture. Like, okay, sure, 9700X, 9600X, their just raw performance did not, improve by more than single digits. But you are getting noticeably lower power consumption, which honestly, like, the power consumption thing from like a power bill standpoint, I don't think many people, like, especially if you're in the U.S., I can't speak for people elsewhere, but in the U.S., electricity in most states is pretty cheap, and you're probably, like, the amount that you can save for power consumption on your computer, there's other aspects of your life that you could probably put less effort into to saving more money, right? We're talking about, like, over the course of a year, like maybe in the tens of dollars price difference between like a lower versus higher powered chip. But in general, I think with being able to not like regress in terms of performance while lowering the power requirements, I think that's something that we're not going to appreciate now, but in the next generation or two, it will be more realized, if that makes sense. Small form factor builders will be happy at least. Also means you can save money on coolers too. Yeah, so lower TDP, lower power consumption. A small form factor actually I think is huge because you are usually limited by, the low profile coolers or using like some like an AIO. So yeah, definitely benefits there. But I mean, for the people who, here, let me run a poll. And this poll, can I run polls? Yes, I can. Is power consumption a big factor? Or here, how should I word this? A deciding factor. Choosing a CPU, yes or no? We can actually run the poll in both. $9,000 series should be great in laptops with the efficiency. Oh crap, I gotta clear all these. Why is this? Oh no. Did I break it? No, we're good. Yeah, for small form factor laptops, lower power, it's always good. Adam Williams says, has no one told him that anesthesia puts in a state of almost death? Totally can actually, yeah, definitely. I'm very aware. That's why they pay anesthesiologists like a butt ton of money. So, because you have to dial in like the dosage and everything just right. Otherwise, you could die from it. True. Or you could wake up mid-surgery, which also sucks. Yeah. But just in the perfect world where you do all those things right, the idea of being able to be put to sleep and get good rest during that is, it's very tempting. The Zen 5 integrated graphics are actually good, so I'm not sure if let's see, let me look at 9700X. What is the integrated graphics on these versus like the APUs? So let's go over here. Yeah, so both are coming in. Most people are saying no, they don't care about power consumption. Honestly, I don't either. Like, I feel like most modern day CPUs compared to like, what like a decade ago. I feel like most modern day CPUs are pretty good about power consumption, especially if you're only operating like in the mid-range. But taking a look at, I didn't even pay much mind to the integrated graphics, which now that they do have them on Ryzen chips, which is a nice thing. What do we got here? Graphics capabilities. 2 graphics core count. Okay, let me zoom in on this. 2200 megahertz. Graphics mod. That's all. I really wish they still gave. Remember, kind of like on Intel side of things, right? They have what's it called? UHD or HD 630, 730. I wish Ryzen CPUs did the same thing too, just so that, especially when you go between generations, it gives you, I feel like it can give you a better idea of the different ones. Like the Ryzen 9600 and the 9600X and 9700X both have 2 graphics core count, 2200 megahertz. Are these the exact same integrated graphics between these two? Yeah, like on the other APU, well, the APUs and stuff, they were Vega. Let's take a look at what's the newest APU that is available right now. Where can I pick these out? Okay, let's see. 8700G. Is that the highest end? Okay, so here's all the APU. Is that the highest end one? Because remember when some Ryzen chips are only available for OEMs and stuff like that? Is there like a secret OEM chip that exists that is better than what we can buy as consumers? On desktop, it is the 8700G. Okay, so let's pull that one up. 8700G specifications, graphics, graphics capabilities. So, see, I wonder, is that the path that they're going now? They're just not going to name it? Or are they going to still name it for APU chips? And then for, how did they treat the, like, 7700X? Give me 1 second. I'm popping all around right now just because I'm trying to answer this question. Graphics capabilities. Yeah, so, and then the 7700X was also 2-core, 2200 megahertz. So did they not change, like, the integrated graphics at all? Or is there a generational difference between 7700X and 9700X? But yeah, on the APU side of things, they have been naming them. I guess if they ever come out with the next APU for 9000 series, if they'll keep that trend. But 12 graphics core count, 2900 megahertz. So just by looking at that, it seems like I kind of want to play with this now. Ryzen, what is this? Ryzen, here, I gotta copy and paste this in. HX 370. Ryzen AI 9 HX 370. AI processor for premium AI PCs. Hey, what's up, Nemus Dark? Okay, well, this one has an 890M, 16 cores, 2900 megahertz. Okay. I've not seen any benchmarks about these, but I mean, you're saying this is a 1060 level performance, like a GTX desktop 1060, which by this point, I mean, we're talking about is that 8 years old now? 1060 came out in like 2016, right? Yeah, July 2016. So we're at the point now. Well, how much is this? If you these are the new laptops that I don't follow laptops super closely, but I think aren't these the ones that they recently embargo shop for reviews? Like I could have sworn like what MKBHD or maybe Dave 2D and stuff did reviews on them within the last week or two, right? But I mean 1060s. I honestly do not. I've never played with the 8700G, so I don't remember. Like the highest end APU, if I can think back, I think is the 5600G, which like that's the highest end APU I've ever played with. So if we look at 86 or 5600G, I'm trying to just get an idea between the core clocks and stuff like that, graphics capabilities. So this was 1900 MHz, 7 core counts. Okay, so the more modern stuff is like 2900 with almost double the graphics core counts. I honestly like APUs a lot, but it only makes sense for, in my opinion, in like the mid-range stuff. Like once you are trying to put together a system that needs the CPU capabilities of like a Ryzen 7, I feel like by that point just slap in a graphics card with it. Like what are you doing spending near $300-400 on a Ryzen 7 processor and not using a graphics card? I know there are some use cases where you're only doing work on the CPU side of things and loading that, but I feel like for at least the gaming side of things, like you're not gonna have people who have the budget to buy an 8700G and not afford a graphics card and use the integrated graphics and wait. I feel like that's a very uncommon situation. But when you have like a 220 price tag for like a Ryzen 5 level of APU, that makes more sense because then you could put that into a computer system that's like $400 or $500 and complete the whole thing out with no graphics card and hold you over till you put one in. For mini PCs and laptops, there's nothing more there. I mean, for laptops, you have your own like line of laptop CPUs and APUs. So I'm talking about just strictly desktop side of things. Yeah, I guess for mini PCs, well, there's a bunch of mini PCs that we've talked about before. You know, like all those companies that come out with those really tiny PCs that have like these super powerful i9s and Ryzen 9s. We could probably find one in like 2 seconds on Amazon. Is there a use case for it? Probably for a minute number of people out there in the world. But like, so mini PC, that's all I'm going to type. I'm just going to type mini PC. I'm not going to even specify. But so they have all these low end ones. Where's those higher end ones? So here's Ryzen 1. I'm talking about like the ones that are like $700 or $800. Okay, I'm just gonna go straight for it then. Like Ryzen 9 and i9 mini PCs. I get so many emails from these companies asking me to review these. I probably will take them up on it one day just so that I can mess around with it. But these things exist. Minis for them. So yeah, this thing is super kitted out. I mean, it costs as much as a pretty good, you could build a good gaming PC for $900, but this is all about the form factor, right? You need a good CPU for 8K corn. I mean, if that's what your use case is. Lil Bobby says, isn't it 8 gigs of RAM for a laptop until you get above $1,000 range? No. There are plenty of laptops under $1,000, like gaming laptops even, that I've found that have at least 16 gigs of RAM. I mean, we can find one right now. That'd be what, a RTX 4060 Ti laptop? Are those under $1,000 yet? They're around. Oh, here we go. Oh no, this is a Ryzen, yeah, 4060, 16 gigs of RAM, DDR5. But even if you're in the $800 range, I mean, I think most laptops, if you're looking at gaming laptops, most of the time they come with at least 16 gigs of RAM. Let's look at the 4060 laptops, because those ones should be a decent amount under 1,000. I think those are floating around 800. Unless you get an ROG Strix and you pay the ROG Strix tax, which also, I guess, applies to laptops, not just graphics cards. But, alright, let's take a look here. So look at this. Acer Nitro, 16 gigs DDR5, but this has the RTX 4050. Ew. But yeah. But it does have a 144 hertz display. Sort light, high to low. Yeah, but when you go low to high, here we go. When you, what's this one? $799. This has a 3050. God, this is a horrible deal. You should be able to get something with a 3050 and an i5 in it for like closer to $600, not 800. With 800, if you're deal hunting, you should be able to find a 4060 and like you know, either 12th or 13th or 14th gen i5 or even i3. But what would you... Come on, is this coming up? Give me a second. Why is this so broken on the streams? I'm trying to pull up people's comments from the Vertigo. But iChala asked, what would you give... Yeah, I can't pull it up. What would you give the AMD CPUs on performance out of 10 compared to last gen? That's hard to answer because on performance. So you're saying performance out of 10 compared to last gen. How much is a 7700X worth cost right now? Because you're looking at what, 360? So 9700X MSRP. So that's gonna be 360, right? And you're looking at... It depends on how much you value power consumption. So you're looking at 290 here versus versus 360, which is a $70 difference. That's like a 25% markup, almost. 280 would be a 25% markup. So you have a 25% markup on price on basically 2 to 3% gains, at least on the gaming side of things, and on some, I mean, we would have to go back and look, like in the compression test, it's the same. Where's the Premiere Pro? That's something that relates to me. Why is my internet going all stupid now? Okay, what was the Premiere Pro? Premiere CPU tests. Oh my god. Or is this YouTube? All my other searches have been going through fine. I'm just trying to look at the productivity numbers. Why are you doing this to me? Okay. Yeah, the video, when I started over, it's fine. Premiere Pro CPU tests. Is YouTube pooping its pants right now? What is going on? Here we go. Okay, so this is the Puget Suite of Premiere Pro tests, and you want a higher score because this does punch out a basically overall score. So we're looking at comparing to last gen. You say, where's the 7700X at? 9101 versus 9330. Let's just say 9400 versus 9100. Okay, so let's do this. We'll compare the likewise. So 9335 divided by 9101. All right. So yes, that is also a 2.5% increase. So across multiple tests, like this is Premiere, right? Very, this is very relevant to me, anyways. But so you have basically, I would say that's in the negligible range, right? If you're gonna like try to render a video with Premiere Pro, and you like 2.5% on time, like when you render out a video, I don't know if you're even gonna notice that. Like if you don't have a stopwatch, or if you're not like actually measuring it, if you're just doing it and then walking away and doing whatever, which is what I usually do when I send a video to render, like I'm going to the bathroom, I'm going to go grab a snack, I'm going to start cooking dinner and stuff. I'm not sitting there like watching it render so that I could instantly like upload it to YouTube, or I rarely do. And even if I did, 2.5%, it's not big enough for me to care about. So going back to the question that they had, what would I rate out of, how do you rate something out of 10 when the price increase is 25%, the performance increase is single digit, closer to like, you know, it's not even single digit, like 9% increase. It's like single digit, closer to the end of being negligible, but the power consumption is much lower. Like, I don't know how I rate that out of 10. Because you wouldn't rate that a 0, right? Because a 0 means it's just not even worth buying at all. But I feel like there are people out there where a 9700X might make sense. Again, we're talking about small form factor, like low heat output situations. Yeah, definitely not a 0 out of 10. Maybe like a 6 out of 10. Performance, if you look at performance alone, it's not like it's a worse chip, right? It's just more expensive. Like, to get anything lower than a 5, I feel like it has to be a worse chip. Like, that is below average. Like, the chip went backwards in terms of performance. But it didn't do that. It just, it's like a stagnant generational leap, I guess, with gains seen elsewhere. You could slap a 65 watt limit on a 7700X also, to be fair. Good point. Some generations jump ahead in pure performance, some in efficiency. This is the latter. Yeah. Man, the chat is really... Okay, I'm going to end the poll because I didn't even realize it was just popping up there on chat. But the thing is, we just did the poll on power consumption, and 2/3 of the people say they don't care about power consumption. And of the rest of the people who say they do care about power consumption, how big of a difference in power consumption would it have to be for them to make the choice between the better, the lower consuming chip, right? So, I mean, that's why I titled the stream like underwhelming, because, well, if you ask some of these content creators, oh, did Jay change it? Jay changed his title. His title originally said, "We expected more." Wait, what the heck is going on here? Why does it say 9700X and 9700X? This used to say and 9600X. He typoed. Did he fix it? He didn't! Okay, so Jay he updated it, but now he says oof. So yeah, when you look at the titles that these YouTubers have, right? And these, I would say, for the most part, like, people trust Hardware Unboxed, they trust Gamers Nexus, they trust Jay. When you say oof, when you say wasted opportunity, when you say sucks for gaming, I would think that my stream title calling them underwhelming is more being nicer, right? I'm not being as extreme in calling out its potential shortcomings, but yeah, that typo, oop, yeah, Jay's typo is oop. But yeah. If it's launched at $300, then getting a 70, wait, if it launched at $300, you're talking about the 9700X? How much are 7800X 3D still going for right now? I don't even remember what I got mine for. 7800X 3D is in the mid 300s, so 366, interesting price. Neo Wesco, good point. Like, I don't see this being AMD going, hey, 7000 series users, upgrade to this. I see this more as trying to appeal to people like me on the 5000 series. Also, I think, Chris, you made the joke earlier, right? AMD 9700. What were those? Were those like the A10, the A series? What were they? The A10 9700. There it is. So, what launched in 2017. So we're talking about this was only 7 years ago. Why do I feel like this line of processors, which I feel they don't get much love, but AMD had something that was similarly named before in a processor. This was before, well, this technically wasn't before Ryzen. This was when they were still making non-Ryzen products in parallel. But yeah, these things, 4 cores, 4 threads, 65 watt though, 3.5 gigahertz, 3.8 boost. I have used an A10 chip before. I have never used this one specifically. I used the A10 8 something chip, but I'm using a 3700X. Is 7700X or 9600X better? What's the 9600X MSRP? That's $279, and then 7700X. No, sorry, I did not mean to go to MSRP. So we're talking $279 versus $290. They are very close in price, like $20 different. Okay, let's take a let me see. I need to look to. So Wendo, so Jay and Wendo did 9600. I think Hardware Unboxed Steve and Gamers Nexus Steve, they mentioned in their reviews that the 9600s were having issues to the point where they couldn't release their review on it. So let me quickly jump through the numbers that Wendo got on the 9600. So 96, but he doesn't have 7700X results in here. But as we know, 7700X and 9700X performs very similarly. So we could scale it based off of that. Okay, so what do we got here? We have 9600X, what is this on? Assassin's Creed. So we got, and the 1% lows and 0.1% I feel like are, it would be too many variables to look at. I'm just gonna look at the average. So 15 on 150, so you're looking at a 10% performance difference here. Like if you take 150, 90% of 150 is 135. Because 10% is 15, subtract it, you get 135, right? So you're looking at 10% performance difference there in that game. What is going on here? Why is this zoom all messed up now? Oh my god, YouTube is... What? Is this on Windows video that's messed up? Yeah, it is. He messed... The scaling on here is all bad, huh? Okay, here we go. That's Mirage, Ultra High, yeah. Did he... What's the other game? Phantom Liberty. 1080p benchmarks. Okay, what do we got here? So 9700 for... See, in Cyberpunk... you have different RAM. So you... He tested this... Why did Wendo... Max supported RAM versus overclocked RAM. But on the 9700X... He didn't mention his RAM configuration. Interesting. So you would have to watch the video to see. But if you look at whatever the heck this 9700X is versus this is 9600X, you guys can't see because my head is in the way. With the max supported quote unquote RAM 5600, they are the same. Anything else? So you take a look at ray tracing. Don't care about that. Counter-Strike. I mean, do you really care about the difference between 265 versus 254 FPS? I mean, it's looking like 97, or if you're assuming a 7700X performs the same as a 9700X, which 2 to 3% is pretty much the same. What I'm seeing so far, the scaling, again, in this video, why is it messed up? Horizon, Forbidden West, 9700, 9600, they're about the same. So this is a 4K benchmark though. We don't care about 4K. I guess we can look at 1440p. 9700 versus 9600. Yeah, so it seems like the 7700X in gaming is gonna perform better for $20 more. So actually $10 more. Sorry, this is gonna be $280 versus $290. I don't know. It seems like 7700X is unless you do need like the AVX 512 stuff, which I would need to look more into before I can advise, but I don't think that applies to a lot of people. I don't know. 7700X seems like the way to go, especially since you might be able to pick one up used or on sale, more likely, because it is being a last gen product. Underwhelming is a nice word to say. Gamers Drama and Dramaware Unboxed use the words flop and wasted opportunity. Yeah, I don't agree with, like... At least he didn't use waste of sand, which I felt like that phrase caught on when he first used that. Like, I don't think when a product doesn't perform, like, overwhelmingly better than last gen, it is just completely a waste. Like, the product in itself, if you separate it from the price, it works and it does what it's supposed to do. Unless it's like Intel's thing where they're literally killing themselves. The chips are like literally, you know, being damaged. Then that's a different thing. But when you get stagnant performance, it just becomes something that's not considered the best value. But overall, like, let's just say if for whatever reason 7700Xs are just now out of stock, or AMD completely stopped producing them, when you call something a waste of sand, you can't then say, well, it's okay to now buy the 9700X now that you can't buy any of the older stuff. Which, you know, the 9700X, for what it is still a very usable and capable CPU that, for its price, isn't bad. Like, yes, there's something better in value, which is the 7700X for, you know, gaming anyways. Yeah, I don't know. People are way too sensationalized about, like, titles and thumbnails. AMD was offering 7700X at $133 a pop. You mean that's like what they were paying, what like retailers were paying to get them from AMD, and then they would mark the price up in Q2 to volume retail? They was offering. What are they offering now? Is it higher or lower? Hey, what's up, Hazard Me? Nice to see you. Waste of gold, lol. Hey, see, now the vertical chat works. It's weird. EDM Tech says, so basically, with all the trouble Intel is having, AMD had a chance to run away with the ball, but instead they fumbled it in the end zone. I mean, I don't know if it's a complete fumble. The chip has redeeming qualities, just not in the like raw CPU and raw gaming performance side of things. Efficiency, how do you put a value on efficiency? Because let's just look at, to simplify it, let's just say the 9700X and the 7700X were neck and neck across the board. So with everything, gaming, productivity, AVX 512, all those other things, right? If they were the exact same chip, but with the power consumption differences, what would the price difference need to be for you to consider the same performing chip with lower power consumption? Would you pay $10 extra for that? Would you pay 20? Like what? Like how much? Oh, my ring's not on. What the heck? Uh-oh. I just noticed my my wedding ring's not on. But yeah, how much would you pay for exact identical performance and better power consumption? Because you're looking at, what, 96, not 96, 65 versus 105 watts, right? Yeah, I'll pull it up. And we're talking about just out of the box, right? This is not you going into the BIOS and messing with it yourself. Because yes, you're right. As someone mentioned earlier, you can set, you know, you could play around with BIOS to consume less power. But let's see, 9600X AMD, 9700X. Sorry. Yeah, so default TDP 105, default TDP 65. So what is that? 65 divided by 105. I mean, it's 60%, 60. No, I gotta do the math backwards. So it comes in at 62%, which is 38%. Power savings. Like 20 more max, to be honest. But it's not 20. That's the issue with it, right? So the value is not there right now, because if you said you would pay $20 max, it would need to be $310, because we're seeing the 7700X at $290, but it's coming in at $70 more, which, I mean, did the 7700X really hold the MSRP at $399? And how long was that for until it starts seeing price drops? What was so Neil Wesco says, I don't think that's fair either. What is AMD supposed to do? Launch a new CPU and say it's alright? Yeah, so in the promotional and the keynotes and stuff like that, they're always going to try to hype up their next product, even if it ends up being not good. But 9700X keynote, let's see if I can pull it up. I want to see AMD at Computex 2024. Watch on YouTube. Can I please watch on YouTube? What is this? Okay, I'm gonna have to just go straight to YouTube. I want to see the performance numbers, because I don't remember off the top of my head what they said it was gonna be. Can I find that? What did I say here? Announcement? Really? How about 9000 series? What do I gotta type in to find? Oh, here's another one. 9000 is shameful. It is shameful, guys. Everything revealed in 10 minutes. This is by CNET. Okay, are they gonna show any of the graphs though? 16% average uplifts. Zen 5 IPC uplifts. Okay. Far Cry. So in gaming, but this is just talking about Zen 5, but across which processors versus Zen 4? Like, is this mixing in both 9700X and 9600X versus their counterpart, 7700X and 7600X? And if so, I mean, it could be that the 7600X is, the Ryzen 5 one is carrying the weight. Because from what we were seeing from the reviewers, I don't know if any game actually, like, benefit. What do we have here? 3D Marks Physics, Octane Cinebench, Geekbench, League of Legends, Blender. Like, these weren't the results that I was seeing from the reviewers. What else do they have? So AI, for people who care about AI. Okay, so all this other stuff is... So it's only just these two parts of the timestamps in the front. And yeah, just based on this, like, there's so much missing information. It's really hard to even pull anything useful out of it. Khalifa Mom says, who believe AMD benchmarks? We don't believe them from 7900 XTX benchmarks. Yeah, I mean, it's not just AMD, right? Who believes anytime Intel, AMD, or Nvidia releases their own benchmarks, which obviously they're gonna put it in the best case scenario for themselves to look good. But let me go back to the scene. When are these? Does anyone know when these are supposed to be available to buy? Release date. Available August 8th is what it's looking like according to this Forbes article. Retail, wait, no, from Ryzen 900X on August 15th. So tomorrow. Okay, so I feel like embargoes are sometimes all over the place. Like with graphics cards, a lot of times when the review comes out, those are available to buy when their review embargo is. But this one is one day after the fact, so okay. If you feel burned because the chart sold you on what it would do, that would make me look at you before blaming AMD. Oh, I don't feel burned at all. Honestly, I don't have like a dog in this race because I'm not interested in picking up a Ryzen 9000 series Zen 5 chip. I have a 7800 XDD, which I don't upgrade very often. I definitely don't upgrade every generation. I usually do every other, so it would be the next one that I would even care about. But 7800 XDD, just from the numbers, are looking like it's gonna hold over for a while, which is good because I don't have the type of money to be always upgrading my test bench and stuff like that. My own personal system, I'm just gonna keep on the 12700K until it does not perform how I need it to, but I think I can still hold off on that. So yeah, I feel like for the people who might be considering it, yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see once they actually become available. How many, like, just everyday average Joes, right? We're not talking about, like, industry professionals. We're not talking about, like, content creators. We're talking about just everyday, regular people. How many are actually going to buy these new chips versus just buying the noticeably cheaper Zen 4 stuff? So I upgraded from the 3600X to 7700X. Love it so far. That's a very nice big upgrade. Whole platform upgrade, so. N2 Tech asks, Danny, what are your thoughts on mini PCs with high-end specs for under $400? I bought one, so $400 or less. I bought a 13700H, 32 gigs of RAM, 1TB hard drive, Iris GPU. Which one is it exactly, N2 Tech? Can you give me like the model name so I can pull it up to take a look? But with the mini PCs, I don't know. It's kind of like on laptops. You have to be a person who's kind of okay with being able to like be very limited on being able to upgrade it. Minis forum, okay. Like, we're talking about minis forum NAB6. 3200. They don't have the exact configuration that you had, but they have something similar. So you got the 13700H. This is a 12650H. Still an i7. This one comes with, but yours was, so you must, I bet you got yours on Amazon or something, huh? Because here it is. Right here on Amazon. Unavailable, though. Let me zoom in so people can see. How strong is the graphics, though? Yeah, so I would imagine, yeah, the M.2 SSD and the RAM is upgradable, yes. But like, why did you buy this for? Like an emulation machine, like a HTPC type of setup? I feel like you could do those things cheaper with just building a tower with old parts. But I'm trying to think of the use case that you would have had to want modern parts in a small form factor, and to be able to spend, willing to spend like $400 on it. Fortnite at high is very playable. At 1080p, we talking about what's the resolution there? At very high, very playable. They're great CPU workhorses. Yeah, but when I think of when I need a CPU workhorse, is like when I am doing stuff, like for me, it's like even video rendering, I use the graphics card. So I personally don't do a lot of things that require, like in my streaming too, I'm using the hardware encoder. So let's say you're a game designer, or you're compiling a bunch of code and stuff. Are you doing that in a situation where you need a mini PC in like your living room or wherever these mini PCs go? Or are you sitting at an office desk that you have no space that you need a mini PC with all the CPU horsepower versus just like a tower? I don't doubt that there are use cases where you need small form factor, super powerhouse of a CPU, but this one 15 ratings so far, and then it became unavailable. I wonder if it's sold out or if they're just like moving on to the next generation of that. Jason with the good point. These are for people who aren't professionals, but also aren't complete amateurs. Think of streamers who stream to an audience of 2 with a room full of Elgato equipment. So people with more money than they know what to do with. That's what I'm thinking. Yo, bro, I have a Ryzen 5 4600G. Should I get a better AM4 CPU or upgrade to AM5? That's a question that needs more details before we can answer, right? How much money do you have to spend? Are you rich and can spend however much, or do you have a budget that you're working with, right? And do you have a graphics card? You have a 4600G. What's your paired graphics cards with it? Like, how much money do you have to spend? It's really hard to answer these types of questions when I don't know if you're like, a 40-year-old person with a stable career, or if you're like a 16-year-old high schooler with like a job at McDonald's or something and you're not making that much money. People with more dollars than cents. Yeah. There are a lot of people out there with more dollars than cents. That would be nice. That would be nice to get more dollars and keep the amount of cents that I have, I feel. Oh, while we're chilling, let me see if I can find something that I thought was pretty funny that I saw on Reddit the other day. Thought it would make for interesting conversation. Clearance sale, Intel stock $19 gets yours today. I'm not going to say anything about that because, yeah, you should make your own financial decisions. Do you think they'll bounce back? Hopefully with the new things coming out for Intel's microcode, that should help them be more stable. Yeah, I mean, it's like AMD had to do a similar thing with their boards too, right? McDonald's pays $21 in Cali. Yes, if you do live with your parents, you're balling. If you don't and have to pay actual rent or try to buy a house in Cali, you're screwed. Yeah, $21 for McDonald's. Which, I mean, come on. as much as people complain about like McDonald's workers shouldn't be making that much money, the cost of living and cost of goods has gone up. Like you can't expect someone even at a minimum wage level job to still only be making what $6 or $7 an hour. What is the lowest minimum wage in the state in the U.S. right now? U.S. lowest minimum wage. 5 states have not adopted state minimum wage. Alabama, Louisiana, Mississippi, South Carolina, Tennessee. 2 states, Georgia and Wyoming, have minimum wage below. This is in 2024. This is from National Conference of State Legislators. Imagine making $7.25 per hour in 2024 with how much everything costs. Even if it is for an entry-level minimum wage job. Like, I don't think that's a good excuse. It takes someone to be there to do the work. People complain, yeah, but McDonald's workers always mess up my order and stuff like that. I don't know, man. I've been to plenty of these places where people are making minimum wage. Minimum wage up in Washington is like $15 though, so it's different. But like, I've been to these places where people say like, oh, it's a brain dead job that doesn't require any skill and stuff like that. They should make less money because they always mess up stuff anyways. I have not really experienced a bunch of like my orders being messed up, like particularly bad service, teenagers not caring about their job. So I don't know, it might be anecdotal, but I feel like people should, you know, I feel like people, if they are working, should be making enough money to keep a roof over their heads and keep themselves fed, and maybe have some play money on the side. Nothing too egregious though. Texas has a min wage. It's also $7.25, but McDonald's doesn't use it anymore. Yeah. It's fast food. They're bound to make mistakes. Yeah, like I've been to like nice restaurants that make mistakes. Like they either they get your order wrong, they mess up on the cook of the steak, you ask for water 3 times before you get it. Like, I mean, I don't understand the mindset of people who want to keep other people down. I guess it stems from like, if you get a wage increase, but people who aren't making minimum wage don't see an increase, then that's like you're encroaching on my territory of what I am able to buy and my buying power, right? Like if I make $20 an hour and the minimum wage increases someone from $7.25 up to $15, now I'm going to be competing against you to buy, you know, whatever price house. Like I want to keep you down type of thing. But I'm not going to get into that. There's so much more complexity that we're not going to be able to talk about and come to agreement on stream. Also a matter of lifestyle and cost of living in a particular state. My rent is cheaper than national average by a nice margin. Yeah, it definitely comes down to a lot of different variables and aspects of it. But I just think in general, people who are against the idea of like increasing the minimum wage and just saying it's because it's like not a skilled labor or something like that, I don't know if I agree with that, because obviously there are still people who are using those services. People complain about, you know, grocery store workers not deserving of more money, but you go to the groceries, you expect the groceries to be stocked, you expect to be checked out, even though they are going to the automated like checkout machines and stuff now, but still, like keeping the groceries stocked and like keeping the grocery store clean and stuff, it's all things that you expect out of it, but then you don't want to pay the workers for doing that work. Like, it doesn't make sense. NT-Tech asks, do you think with the addition of AI, do you think they will make a new CPU every 6 months to keep up? What was the 7700X release date? I don't know if they necessarily need to do that. September 27, 2022, and we are in August right now, so about 11 months in between. The whole AI thing, I don't know if that makes sense for them to do. If they do that, then I don't know, that the cycle for new product release, 6 months just seems way too short. but I could be proven wrong. I don't think it's gonna increase to a quicker intervals. 3 Latron, 3 LRA. Okay, how do I say this name? Something Blanco. Oh, Blatant? Maybe that 3 is supposed to be a B? No, BLR makes no sense to me. Anyways, how am I doing? I'm doing good. Aside from my foot not healing and not being able to walk for 7 weeks, I'm doing as good as I can be. If you think these jobs will still be around in 15 years, you're deluded. Go look at Auto Factory and see how many machines have taken over. Yeah, I do think robots are going to be taking over a decent amount of jobs. I think we're actually going to probably be surprised at which ones are still going to be there. At least you're going to have someone who has to manage the robots and then do maintenance on the robots. And, you know, whenever they get offline and mess something up, you're going to need some human intervention there. But... 15. So what was 15 years ago from today? 2009? I don't remember what the talk was about automation replacing jobs, but I feel like that's been something that has been talked about for a long time. But I know they tried to do a fully automated McDonald's somewhere as like a test. I don't remember how that panned out, but I feel like there's some things that like just humans are better at, and I feel like cooking is one of them. Like, sure, you can have this big, fancy, sophisticated machine that could spit ingredients into a bowl and stir it and stuff, but, like, I don't know. Until they can get the machines, not just the, like AI and stuff, right, to be is smart enough to give commands, you have to have the machines be, like, dexterous enough to, like, put together a hamburger with multiple ingredients to the same level as a human can, and you have to scale the production of those machines to get the cost down enough to justify replacing a human. 15 years, is that when we're going to have all automated fast food places? And I'm just using fast food as one of the examples, but stocking shelves at the grocery store, what other jobs are there that require just basically like brute force human labor? Like janitorial stuff? Like replace, you know, like I don't know if I see machines and like the tech in robotics. Sure, you have Boston Dynamics making these robots who can like do freaking parkour, but I don't know if that scales like across all like what's it called, manual labor industries, if that makes sense. Like I went to someone's talking about Japan and robots and stuff, but there's a sushi restaurant now that have these, let's see, robot brings water sushi restaurant. There's a sushi restaurant around me actually that has something like this, where they automatically bring you your water, but there's so many things that this robot still can't do. But the being able to call for water on a machine and not have to wait and have a waiter forget 3 times before you actually get your water, this is pretty convenient. But the thing about this robot, though, it's kind of clunky. I feel like I mean, it's smart enough not to bump into people, but it can only bring out water as fast as humans can put water onto the tray. Like, if you were to try to fully automate this robot, to be able to fill these cups of water on, have a machine put the water onto here, and then bring the water out to the table, versus having a human do it, the human's gonna be able to do it way faster. Like, this robot, you know, you gotta be careful. You can't move as fast and stop as fast because you might spill the water, whereas a human has more control. So yeah, with regards to robots taking over our jobs, they're gonna do it, but it's gonna take a while, I feel. It has to be done like SpongeBob. Yes, it's like the Poseidon episode where he makes one burger that tastes amazing, and King Trident, or was it King Poseidon, whatever his name is in SpongeBob, he makes like 1,000 of them and they all taste like garbage. Let him have it. Working sucks. Working does suck. I agree. We need a UBI. That is going to be an interesting problem, which I personally hope to see in our lifetime. Like, when most jobs are replaced, how are how are they going to deal with distributing wealth and distributing just money to people who don't have jobs anymore and who don't necessarily need it, and housing and stuff like that? But then we might have like population issues. I don't know, man. It sounds like doom and gloom. Like the next generations are screwed. They're not going to be able to afford houses. Robots are going to have taken their jobs. They're going to be given like this allowance from the government that they're not going to be able to do much with. And they're going to be expected to either live with their parents or live in, I don't know, like dormitory type living that they're going to come up with from the government to house people. Yeah, the only thing about UBI is, is it Alaska that got UBI? That tested it one town in Alaska? I think it was Alaska. Alaska Permanent Fund. How much does that pay out? Every October, around $1,000 to $2,000. Into 2020, there were more than $3,000. Typical households can get up to 10. Wait. The thing about UBI now, though, is it's a universal basic income, but it's such a pitiful amount. They're giving it like what, 1,000, 1,600 a year. I feel like you might be able to panhandle more than 1,600 a year. Obviously, they got to start somewhere, but it's like in an ideal world, when I think of UBI, I think of you don't have to work and you are taken care of the entire year. But I don't know if that really works. You got to bring some kind of, like, you got to be productive and bring some kind of value to society. It might be like WALL-E, where all the robots do everything for us and we could just sit around and watch YouTube videos and play games and work on music or art and stuff like that. But dude, given how much housing costs now and how much it costs to feed a person or a household, I don't know how all that works out. So I just hope it happened in my lifetime so I could see and get an answer before I die. Like, how are we going to deal with this? When's the next land? Next land is September. End of September. I remember 20 years ago when people said outsourcing jobs would make a huge impact on the US job market. Hard to say if the effects are noticeable. I feel like we hear a lot of people complain like, oh, I tried to call customer support and I got transferred to some dude in India. I've heard that many a times. Whether or not, like, I do know, actually, my stepbrother, one of his jobs got outsourced to India, and his department, everyone lost their jobs, but they all bounced back and found different jobs, stuff like that. Yeah, I don't know. Hard to say on that one. I mean, every time, I feel like a lot of times I do call customer support for whatever company, I am being connected to someone in a different country. I don't know how many people lost their jobs and did not find something to replace that with, but yeah. Speaking on that, what happened to Matt from Land Vids? I answered this in a previous stream before. I guess it must have been somebody else who asked it too. A lot of people do ask about Matt. But it was basically a falling out between Matt and someone else in the LAN group, unfortunately. Sometimes people don't agree on certain things, and then they make a decision to not hang out anymore or to leave the friend group and stuff like that. And, I don't have problems with Matt. A decent amount of people in the LAN group don't have problems with Matt, but there was a falling out, and Matt chose to remove himself from the LAN group. So, that was his decision. It got to a point where they couldn't work it out. I don't know if they would ever be able to work it out in the future, but yeah, that's basically what happened. Sometimes people just grow apart over time. Matt was a part of the group for a long time before LAN party stories even, so, it is what it is. I think what we view as jobs are just going to change. Same as what happened during Industrial Revolution. STEM is just going to be normal and infrastructure jobs are going to boom. What we view as jobs. Yeah, but what new jobs are going to be created? Like, what are some like hard, concrete examples that you can think of jobs that don't exist right now that will be in the future due to like the displacement? It must have been really bad for nerds to call it quits. Yeah, I mean, I'm the type of person who usually am pretty like chill, relaxed, can get along with everybody. If there is a disagreement, I could usually work it out. Like, I've had, not within the LAN group, but just in other like circle of friends in my life, there have been like issues, but usually if both people are reasonable and talk it out, you can work it out. Because whatever, you know, I think it's just when people have too much ego or get too hot-headed and just like can't have a civil conversation, that's when the issue is. I don't know the full details of the falling out because, you know, that's just not something I am going to poke and prod in people's private conversations, but yeah. We are known for our compromise. Forgive, forget. I would agree with that. Oh, crap. Mike, I got your shirts. I should unbox it today. I don't have it down with me right now, and I'll do it on next stream. I got your package though. I picked it up earlier this week, so I will unbox them next stream. Did I see right that you spent $19 on shipping that box? I didn't look, but what shipping service did you go to? That thing shouldn't have been more than like $7 or $8 if you use pirate ship. And I feel like with shirts, you could send those in like bubble mailers for even less. But yeah, I was surprised. I think it put the shipping price on there. $19? I wouldn't say jobs that don't exist now, more of an addition of more people needed in electrical engineering, computer engineering, linemen, data centers, substations, yeah, power plants. I would agree. There's probably always demand in those fields, but will the demand match that of the amount of people being displaced by robots? Like, I mean, all of those fields, they're limited by how much the companies behind them can afford to pay for more employees, right? Because a given employee, especially in specialty fields like that, are expensive. It's not just the wage that you pay them, it's benefits and all that stuff. So adding an additional head is pretty expensive. And if you're removing workers who are only worth $15 to $20 in minimum wage, like a bunch of those, and then I guess you can only replace them with so many of these higher skilled or like degree like jobs. But anyways, yeah, we'll see. That's something that gradually happens over time, so it will also be addressed gradually over time. We don't have to come up with an answer for it like right now this second, but there are people way smarter than me working in, you know, who analyze all this stuff. We just gotta have faith that they're gonna figure it out. Any PC giveaway plans for another member of the LAN group or everyone? The PC giveaway plans, I gotta be honest, back when I was doing those, the channel was in, like, just everything was in a much better place. Like, the channel was doing better, and companies were much more willing to help out with things like that. But nowadays, like, companies are getting like way more stingy about what they want with regards to like if they were to send you parts and stuff like that and sponsorships. So it's really expensive to just willy-nilly give out PCs out of your own pocket, because PC hardware is expensive. But it's a lot easier when companies help out, and I have not been receiving as much help from companies as I have been in the past. But a good thing though is you mentioned a lot of people. Nobody really has like a really crappy PC anymore within the friend group. Everybody's PCs is kind of up to par. There are a couple actually that could use upgrades, but that's always on my radar to see how I can help them out. But for the next LAN, I'm not sure, especially if my foot is still like this. Like, I'm not sure how much groundwork I could do ahead of time to help like try to do that. So, yeah. Oh, you did it through USPS? That included insurance for the AMD 1996 retro shirt. Oh, dang, insurance. I thought insurance is usually like only a couple of dollars for that, but yeah, I'll have to take a look. Do you think with the introduction of these new CPUs, the 5000 series gen prices go down? Wait, 5th gen chips. So you're talking about like 5600, 5700X type chips? I've been stuck with the 1600 AF, and I need to invest in an upgrade. Yeah, I feel like the 5600. How much are 5600 right now? Aren't they like 120 bucks? 140 maybe? 125? Do I think they're gonna go down much more than this? I don't really think so. Let me see. Let me look at the vetted price chart. It was down to 116 like a month and a half ago. It looks like that wasn't Prime Day deals. But yeah, so I don't let me put it this way. I don't think they're gonna go on sale, but like they normally do, right? So right now it's sitting at 125. According to the vetted chart, it's been down to like 116 before in the past. I don't think it's gonna go much lower than that just because of the new 9000 series chips releasing. I feel like these have pretty much, they haven't reached like their absolute price floor, but as you do get closer to that absolute minimum price before these become like, you know, basically end of life, it slows down. So I mean, you missed out on picking one up for, you know, 10 bucks cheaper than it is now. But I feel like at this price, this is a phenomenal deal. You could also always go on AliExpress if you are, you know, how much are they? I bought mine for what, 85 bucks? Here, if you don't mind waiting 2 weeks for this thing, you can get it for 80 bucks. You're not going to get a cooler with it, but from a 1600 AF, $80 to upgrade to this is great. And you could probably sell that 1600 AF for at least 30 bucks. So that makes it like a $50 upgrade. Is it 70 on Ollie? I'm not sure if I saw it for cheaper. You might need a code to get it for that much. Yeah, so I usually reference Amazon for pricing. I know AliExpress is cheaper, but given that some people are like uncomfortable with buying from AliExpress and like the longer shipping times and stuff, I don't use this as like, you know, the metric to compare prices to. I'll buy from it all day, but here's a 5600 for 76 bucks. So yeah, you could probably add some coupon codes and get it down to like 70, but I would say don't wait for price decreases. Just either buy an Ollie one or, again, 125 if you're stuck on buying in the States from e-tailers. I would go with this. Tyler Rodriguez says, any plan to create small batch? I do want to make LAN Party Stories, an official LAN Party Stories shirt for merch. But small batch like a Dino Nugget keychain and stuff like that. Falling Food logo, stickers. I don't think those would really be worth selling. Especially with given like selling a small off one item for like a few bucks when shipping is going to add like more than the value, you know. That doesn't make sense. But like I have been thinking about a LAN Party Stories shirt, like a shirt design. I am working on a different shirt design right now. It's in the works. Should I show it to you guys? I don't know, because this thing isn't done yet, but I am working on a shirt design. Maybe I could show you. Can I put this into here? Ha, it does work. Alright, I won't show you the progress on it so far, but I'll show you the design. So I am working on the official third piece of merch, and it is gonna... People have talked about, like... And we did the whole AI thing. But this is the concept I came up with, and I sent it over to the artist who is working on it, and we've been going back and forth. But I wanted to have the big three, you know, AMD, NVIDIA, and Intel, because Intel is now a part of the game when it comes to graphics cards. And these are kind of like the three figureheads of it, right? We got Lisa Su, Jensen Huang, and an Intel side of things, we could have picked different people. Like, there's a bunch of different Intel, like, heads of departments and CEO and stuff like that. But I picked Roger Kadori because he was kind of like the figurehead for the ARC GPU. So the shirt merch is basically them three with their graphics cards, and kind of like, again, anime inspired-esque, just because it's a lot easier to make merch with like a cartoon figures instead of like trying to do real. But yeah, so I sent a bunch of reference photos to the artist, what I kind of want the feel and the look to be with each of the figureheads. Kind of like they're like the three bosses of the big three, right? NVIDIA, Intel, and AMD are like the big three in the PC space. So yeah, hopefully this turns out good. So far, I'm liking it, but we're still finishing it up. But that's going to be the third piece of merch whenever that finally releases. And then the fourth piece of merch, I do want it to be a LAN Party Stories specific piece of merch. So, you know, possibly incorporating Dino Nuggies, Tater Tots, and then however else I can. So, Casey Wall says, buy the 5600 from Amazon and return the... Return the 5600 AF in the clamshell to Amazon. That would be... I think if you do that, maybe you might get away the first time. But if you do that multiple times, I think Amazon will catch on and then they will ban your account, which is not a good thing. How's the foot doing? My whole body is screwed up right now. I totaled my vehicle on Saturday. Oh no. How'd you total it? Was it like a faultless type of thing? Just like bad road conditions? Was it other person's fault, your fault, etc.? Equal fault? Dang, totaling your vehicle though. Hopefully insurance pays it out. You know, sometimes when you total a vehicle, insurance pays out like more than you paid. If you were able to get like a good deal on it. But yeah, hope you're feeling better though. But for me, I got surgery on my foot yesterday, so I'm just healing from that. What else we got here? I think we're on I'm trying to keep the stream at 2 hours today because I'm starving. So I want to go eat right after this. We have cod put out, and then probably gonna make kale and mashed potatoes or something. But yeah, I'm hungry. My foot is starting to throb, so I gotta go upstairs and take my painkillers. But yeah, we have about 15 or so minutes left to just hang out, so we can... I don't think... Oh, I was supposed to pull up stuff because people submitted more to the Discord. We can look at people's setups if there's nothing else to talk about. Head-on collision. Ooh, usually head-on collision, when I think of that, I'm thinking of like yielding at a left turn type of thing. Like, how else do you go head-on? Like, facing each other. Yeah, to me, like, the most common head-on must be, like, someone misjudging a yielding turn while the other lane is still going and you hit head-on. But hopefully you... nothing serious, permanent long-term damage. But, yeah. I have never personally been in a car accident while driving. And I specify that because I have been in the car while someone else was driving and it got into an accident. But myself, I've never been in an accident as a driver. Fingers crossed, knock on wood, that I continue that streak. Is a 3070 and a 5600X a good pair? Yes, that is a very good pair. That is like prime good pairing right there. Honestly, the 5600X is such a it is so flexible in what you can do with it. Like you could go down to 3060 Ti. 3060 would even pair well with the 5600X. You could push like a 3070 Ti. In some cases, you could argue you could put a 3080 in there if you're playing at 1440p with kind of like higher graphic settings, and it'll still do a really good job. So yeah, the 5600X has like a wide range to it where it can pair with a lot of graphics cards. I just listed off NVIDIA cards, but there's a lot of AMD cards too that will pair with it. You could probably pair like 8 different graphics cards, even more if you start looking back at like 2080 Super, 2080 Ti and stuff like that. Yeah, there's tons of graphics cards you can pair with the 5600X to be a good pairing. So okay, let's see. Oh, and then the thumbnail contest too. I talk about that a little bit. So I held a thumbnail contest just to see. The prize was $50. I talked about this last week. If you could design a thumbnail that can perform better than mine, I was gonna pay out $50. So we had the contest held. Then we voted for the top 2 to go into, because you know YouTube has this thing where you can upload 3 different thumbnails and they will show them simultaneously to different people. Of course, they don't show all 3 to one, but they'll show like one thumbnail to 1,000 people, and then this thumbnail to the next 1,000, and this thumbnail to the next 1,000, all mixed in, right? And then it will tell you which one runs better. So we had a contest, and then the results actually just finished today. And mine still came out. My simple thumbnail still came out with a decently wide lead. But I thought this was pretty fun, and I would be down to do this again. So the challenge is like I only want to pay out if you could beat the thumbnail, because it's like paying for a thumbnail artist. I don't like, why would I hire a thumbnail artist who makes a thumbnail that isn't as good? And I'm not saying I don't make good thumbnails. You guys could probably see compared to other YouTubers' thumbnails. Mine are very basic. I don't have like any professional training in Photoshop. I just kind of make what I think can look good. But I keep them simple enough, and I try to follow design principles like very readable text, you know, having certain things that pop and stuff like that. And it works well enough. So, yeah, so that happened. But regarding the build and setup showcases from last week, do you guys remember which one we ended with? I think we ended with this one, with the flight sim, right? I don't think... Oh, what the heck? I don't think... Wait, did we get to this one too? No, we did get to the Height Y40 as well, because I remember I kind of was talking about how much I don't like the Height Y40 case. That might have been the last one that we did, though. But we have this one, Prism. Oh, this is from Lee. Lee submitted this. All right. Okay, so let's read what he has here. My 2024 PC upgrade, stayed AM4. Let me zoom in so people can actually see this. But yeah, we've got a 5900X undervolted PBO. Okay, on a Peerless Assassin with a single fan is what it looks like. Yeah, with it. Do these normally come with only one fan? I could have sworn they came with 2. Wonder why he took one off. Maybe because of the RAM clearance? But I might be remembering incorrectly. But 4070 Ti Zotac OC Trinity. Not my favorite looking card, but with the white theme, I guess it goes. And he put a backplate on it. A custom plain backplate. Overclocked or undervolted plus 1250 OC on the memory. Custom backplate. Should have painted the shroud, but he didn't. Okay, 64 gigs of RAM. B550. Up The case is a Pevia Prism with 8 Thermalright RGB fans. 8 Thermalright RGB fans probably would run you in the ballpark of like less than $40. It's crazy how cheap Thermalright fans are. And then EVGA Supernova. Okay, 850. Overall, the build with the Falco, what was that, Amiibo? Taking a look at the case, that is a very Pevia thing to do, to make a like a, you know, edge-to-edge glass case with the side intake, but still have this archaic design with the thumb screws. 4 thumb screws through the glass. Overall, though, this is a really clean looking build. Lee did a good job with cable management. Let's see, we got intake on the side, intake on the bottom, and exhaust up at the top and the rear. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wait, he said 8 fans? Oh, I think he put one of these Thermalright ones in the mid. Maybe he put it in the middle? I can't really tell because you can't see this one. But he said 8 fans. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I count 7. Maybe that was a typo. I think this looks good though. Alright, so that was Lee's submissions. We got It's Sheffy. What do we got in here? Main monitors, LG Ultra Gear 1440, P165 or 175 Hz, can't remember. PC is a custom Gigabyte B450, DS3H, 5800X3D, MSI Mag AIO, and a 3070 in a Montec case with a power spec 650 watt power supply. I think some people might have some concerns about the power supply here, but if you go take a look at the build itself, let me close a bunch of these tabs out. Alright, we got dual stack monitors. I like this with the side monitor. All different sizes it looks like, but hey, it looks like it works. And then we've got the case and the build right here. Which Montec case was this? Oh, it's just, oh, this looks like the Air 210. Yep, this is a white Air 210 because it's got that little what's it called, handle there to pull this magnetic side panel open. And this is an example of a mixed white and black build. Though, let's see. Again, when you do these kind of like Stormtrooper black and white builds, I feel like you should try to balance like the white and the black so that it's mixed in and not clumped up anywhere. Like, so it's like every other. Here, I feel like there might be a little bit of clumping with like the AIO tubes and the pump with the motherboard and the graphics card. Like, this is a lot of white parts. Oh, and the fan in the back, kind of interesting. There's like white parts and then black parts, but it's all clumped together. Like, you have your white RAM here, but I think a white AIO might have, to me, improved the look. But overall, pretty good specs and a good system. Alright, and then we go on to Spicy Bruce's first PC. I always love seeing and hearing about people's first PCs. Everybody has their own first PC story. But for here, let's zoom in so that the folks on the vertical. Let me close these banners off. Alright, so we got decent amount of pictures. Okay, this is my first PC that I built. Went for an all black aesthetic. The specs are Ryzen 7 7700X, very solid choice. RTX 4070 Ti Super, and 32 gigabytes of DDR5 RAM. So we've got their setup with a STI. In the front, or on the desktop, got a 2 monitor setup. Got a phone stand, Corsair mouse, Corsair 4000D case with a dark tint on the side. And internally, yes, this is indeed all black. Even all black, no RGB. Because it's one thing to go all black by default components, but to actually go in and choose specifically not to get components with any LEDs. Yeah, it's just no LEDs on the fans, none on the pump block, none on... And the Tough Gaming card, I don't remember if this GeForce logo lights up or if it's just a print on. But yeah, RAM has none either. So you're going for... This is like a stealth black build. No lights emitting from it, as you can see. But once you get dust accumulation on this front, you can see the dust for sure. I believe that is dust. Once you clean that off, it won't be this grayish dust color. But I mean, for a first PC, that is very solid specs. Very beefy specs. So congrats. Always love hearing, you know, people who save up money, buy their first PC, and they're able to get some pretty decently good components. So, alright, I think that was the last setup that has been posted. N2 Tech says, I am over LEDs. I still like them. Yeah, I mean, I like them. I just like setting them to like either green or white or something. If I get, you know, if I'm feeling adventurous, maybe like a purple or a teal or something. But yeah, I agree. White AIO and a white GPU would have made that other one cleaner looking. It doesn't have to be everything all white, but you got to distribute the whites. Let me see if I can find an example. Like the whites and... I'm not saying to segregate, okay? White and black PC build. But to separate them... And, look at this one. Oh, man. Okay. Okay. Let's look at some of the B-roll. Wait. So here's an interesting one. Normally when you see mixed black and white builds, I feel like a lot of times you see them in white cases. This is an example in a black case, but you've got pretty decent distribution going on. It does, and I think it's because the motherboard helps. The motherboard, because you can see in the gap between the cooler and the graphics card and the RAM, that's where like using a black one and then having other components with black accents work. But let me see what other good looking mixed black and white cases. This one looks good too. And this one it also helps that the case does have, you know, black accents on it already. I can't zoom in anymore. It doesn't want me to zoom in unless I open and copy the image address, then I can zoom in all I want. Okay, so something like this. Yeah, this is a good distribution. You got your little black accents on the cable combs. You got, like, you know, the Corsair cooler isn't all white. It's got some black motherboard. This down here, I think the black framing too of the tempered glass case. So this is, and then the Fantex covers too. These are black. So yeah, very good distribution in here for a Stormtrooper-esque aesthetic. Isolated says, oh yeah, you can post it. The Discord link is in the description. It might be hard for you. Here, let me just give you the Discord link. I will make a new link right now. But yeah, this is clean. I don't have a Discord command. I should probably make one, huh? I will go do that. I will open up Stream Elements. Or where am I doing? Stream Elements? Yes, I use Stream Elements. Not Streamlabs. But I will make a Discord command after this stream. Any other cases? Oh wait, the Niso P1 by Gamdius. That sounds familiar. Gamdius Niso P1. Oh, okay. This is one of those 3D printer looking cases. What about it makes it 3D printer looking? I think it's the curved, what do you call them? What do you call this point? I want to call it like a frame or something. Like when you're, when I think of like structural engineering and stuff. just the overall design. What about this makes it look like a 3D printer? Like one of those enclosed ones. I've seen this. I'm not a fan. It is a dual chamber case, which I am a fan of dual chamber design. Aesthetically, not the bezel, like, because I mean, there is a structural, like, reason for this to be here. Otherwise, it would just be the top panel floating, unsupported. Like, this is what in a house or something you would call like a beam. But I don't want to call it in a PC case a beam. Whatever this part is called. That's part of the chassis. Yeah, so they rounded it off. And, I don't know. I just am not a fan of this look. I don't know why. Is it the roundedness? Let's see, Niso P1 build. I mean, as a case, like airflow wise, I'm sure it's fine. As a case that's to build in, I'm sure it's really good because it's dual chamber. I've not really seen a dual chamber case that like sucks to build in. For the most part, if you have that design, it's good. Oh, that, in this, it looks like that part is removable. Yeah, it's removable right there. Oh, it's not even a frame. Is it just a glass then? So I was wrong. That's part of the curved glass. Where's the part where they put the glass on? Yeah, so when you take it off... Okay, so it is unsupported. I mean, it's supported by a glass panel, but in terms of like non-glass and metal, it's not. Yeah, so... When it's like this view, I think it looks fine. When it's closed off, to me, it looks like a 3D printer. Yeah, here we go. Let's watch him close it. Yeah, so you close that goes in, and then that part goes in. Yeah, too much 3D printer vibes for me, unfortunately. Let's see if I can find one that looks just like it. Enclosed 3D printer. There's a bunch of different ones, but... No, not that one. Hard to explain. I can't find one, but like, it gives me disc-esque vibes. I don't know why. Not that one. Okay, so Discord. Where did you submit somewhere? Let me see. Did you submit to general? Build and setups. Is this the one? Isolated. Is this you? Oh, yep. It looks like your name in like different characters. Alright, so my new 12700K and Asus 4070 build. Still theming this in a Starfield theme. How the panel's getting decals. Decals. Kind of like vinyl decals. Or, I know some people do glass etching to like permanently like mark glass. Weighted, oh yeah, you putting it right here. Vinyl company finished the design. How much do they charge you? I feel like vinyl cutters are like, I don't know, you can get them for like 100, 200 bucks. And you could print enough vinyl to easily pay for itself compared to buying it. But, alright, so let me open these in a new tab. Alright, that's all that was posted. And it's a zoomed up close shot. So it's really hard to see the overall build, but we've got a mixture of fans in here. This fan back here, NZXT. So I'm guessing this is this like an NZXT N7 case or something? And then, or H7. And then these fans down here definitely look different. I wish there was a zoomed out view also showing like the entire build fit in the shot and not just internals. But aside from knowing that it's a 1270K and 4070, we are not sure what the remaining parts is. Like, wait, so this is, I don't know if this is DDR, probably DDR4, just based on the way that those G-Skill rip jobs look. So that could be anywhere from 32 to 64 gigs more, depending on the, you know, how much each of the RAM modules are. We're all waiting for you to build in the powertrain case. Yes. I need to paint the graphics card first. I already bought the paint, but I need to check the weather the next couple of days to paint that thing because I want it to dry quickly. Ideally it's a warm sunny day when I paint so I can get it all done in one go. I don't want to have to paint across multiple days because when you spray paint and stuff, you also have to be careful. I need to find a spot in the backyard to like not have dust or debris or stuff that's just blowing in the wind, like pollen, go onto the card while it's drying. Like if you have wet paint and you're painting outside, then let it dry in the sun. But if it's not dry yet and stuff gets onto it, it's gonna stick to it. So I gotta be careful when painting that thing. But yes, it is still gonna be that is still the plan. I just got other stuff I gotta do first. I bet you're hungry. What's for dinner? Dinner is cod, kale, and mashed potatoes, I believe. I gotta go start peeling some potatoes. But yeah, that's gonna be it for the stream. So change the song changed. But yeah, that's gonna be it for the stream. If you guys haven't seen yet, I posted a video Monday. It was the LTX video, which happened. LTX happened a year ago, but it was like a year after posting footage that I never got around to posting. If you enjoy watching other tech content creators, I think that is a good watch because there's a decent amount of footage of like UFD Tech, Mark from Scatterbolt, Zach's in there a bit, Ozzy's in there quite a bit, even Jason Whitmer is in there. So yeah, if you enjoy just like seeing what tech content creators are like when they are not sitting in front of the camera making a video for you, then that LAN party story, not LAN party stories, it was called LTX stories video, I think it's a good watch. But yeah, other than that though, next video, if I could paint this graphics card in time and get a video out, then that would be it. But if not, just depending on how my foot, I feel like I've wasted so much time with appointments, getting scheduling for labs and all that stuff that I just hope my foot gets better so that I can get back fully in the swing of things. There's so many appointments that I have randomly in the middle of the day that just throw off like my groove. That yeah, I'm just ready to go back to being normal. But yeah, other than that though, hope you guys all had fun this stream. I had a good time as always. Hope you guys have a good rest of the week and have a good weekend coming up. Yeah, take it easy, and I will see you all as always in next week's stream. I don't think anything should come up that should cancel it, or in the comment of the next content I drop. So y'all take care, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.